everyone, my name is Ashley Pickett. I'm a librarian here at Flower Library. I happen to be in charge of our central library resources along with our director here at Flower. So I am tasked with not only purchasing our adult nonfiction collection and maintaining it, but I also work very closely with all of our online resources. So today we are going to take a dive and tour through one of our newest. We are going to work through Kanopy. So some housekeeping things before we go ahead and get started. You'll notice when I jump over to sharing my screen, I do have some kind of font settings built in, so my eyes are terrible. So things are much bigger than they typically are. Usually with each screen I visit, I kind of have to pull the zoom back down a little bit so it looks a little closer to what you're used to. So if you catch that, I apologize in advance. One other thing that I do ask is I ask that you ask questions while we're in the moment. I'm completely fine with you interrupting me, kind of shouting at me. Just because with the Zoom format, I tend to miss the chat box if I am the one who is leading the meeting or I am the one who is teaching. I don't want to miss any questions. I don't want to overlook anything. So please feel free to kind of shout out at me. And that I really appreciate that. That would be great. And one of the last things is I like to keep these to kind of 30 minutes or less if we can. So I will kind of quickly go through some things. That said, I am willing to say at the end if there are any questions or you have, or if there's anything we don't get to, okay? You should have gotten in your email, don't mind my sticky notes all over it, but you should have gotten a cheat sheet in your email that kind of breaks things down step by step, at least getting started. For Kanopy, if you didn't, you can let me know. I'm happy to send you another one. You can also find these online through the online resources page. Matt Corey has kindly put those up there for us, and they're also available on the central library page, both of which are on NCLS's website. Okay, you will be getting another stash of bookmarks in your delivery, although I will confess this one has me tripped up just because I'm not quite sure how to go about making that one. There are different ways you can access Kanopy, and I haven't quite figured out how to lay out the bookmark yet. So that one is coming, but it's going to take a little bit longer than normal. Okay, and I should mention that NCLS is creating social media posts. You might have caught those already that have to do with Kanopy to kind of help us promote and get the word out, especially since it is so new and we are highlighting it this month. So if you don't mind sharing those, it would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen. Perfect. Now, if at any point something happens and you can't see what you think I'm supposed to be sharing, please yell out to me. I would highly appreciate that. Okay, so like any of our online resources, the entire process starts, at least the browser version that is, by visiting NCLS's website. But with Kanopy, there are different ways to go about accessing Kanopy, accessing the videos and everything that it has to offer. For this particular class, I am going to show you the browser version just because it is very hard to demonstrate on a device with a teeny tiny little camera here. But keep in mind, there is an app version that our users can utilize, and they can also use any smart, shouldn't say any, select smart TVs as well. And I can show you at the end of our class a complete list that Kanopy has on their website of all of the devices and operating systems that Kanopy is available as an app on. Okay, but we'll get to that at the end. But for now, let's take a look at how to access Kanopy using your browser, okay? So if an individual was accessing on a tablet through a browser, a lot of these steps are going to be very similar, as well as on a laptop or even, I guess, on a phone browser as well, okay? So from the browser of my laptop, ncls.org, we're going to go ahead and scroll down until we find the Kanopy button here. Click on that. And in order to explore this resource, I had to enter my library card into the database and create my account. So if you were joining for the first time, you would click the Add a Library Card button. And you would enter your card number, no spaces, of course, your PIN, password, however that lingo falls. And you click continue, and it's going to prompt you for a name, an email address. We have to tell our users, make sure that email address is valid, because this is one of those resources where Kanopy will send them an email, and it asks them to verify their email, verify their account through a link that they send to them. So that is an important step because they won't be able to access otherwise, okay? So make sure you remind them that they need a valid active email address before they can continue. Okay, but since I have already gone through that entire process, I'm going to scroll down through here just a little bit more. There's the login button. It's kind of blending in, but it is here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and enter my information and hope that I got everything correct. Goes, and it's super quick and easy. The account creation process it's not very many steps. I think it's like 4 or 5. As long as you remember your email password, that is always a tricky one. Just a little bit for you. Okay. Now, if you are a documentary lover, if you love the BBC, History Channel, PBS, you're going to find so many good things here for your viewing pleasure. Let me go ahead and click on one. Yes, I was testing it out earlier. So let me jump back in here. Maybe. Try. I want the right button. There we go. My goodness. All right. So when you click on any of your little previews here and finally get into what you were looking for, you can see that there's a summary. You can see that if there is an applicable rating, it will show that for you. Lots and lots of information for you to kind of go through, just like our Netflix, our Hulu, all of those things that we are used to seeing. Okay. Oh, and it also gives you, of course, the year that it was made. It gives you the length of that particular episode or that particular movie, depending on what you were looking at. And this one has 2 episodes, so we could go ahead and navigate right to episode 2 from this menu. But for now, let's jump into episode 1 real quick. There's a couple of things I would like to show you within kind of the watch screen, if you will. Hopefully it's not going to be too awful loud. Now I moved within the library and there it goes. Turn the volume down just a touch. Okay. So you'll notice the last time I was in here, I had the closed captioning turned on. You can toggle that on and off real easily. Move my screen around. There it is. When you hover over this CC button, it gives you a quick menu, but there are some settings that I really wanted to take a second to show you. Now, as somebody who really likes closed captioning, this kind of made my heart giddy. You can change the colors, the size, all of that kind of stuff that makes it much easier to see the words on the screen. And I found that really refreshing. I've never seen that available in this kind of scale before, which was fantastic. Okay, so those are here. And like I said, you can access this right within the play screen. I'm going to go ahead and close this and it will play again. I'm going to go ahead and pause it real quick. If you happen to find that the volume is considerably quieter than you expect, even after using the volume buttons on your device, there's a volume control right here. Always check that one as well and make sure that's not so low. You can kind of go forward, go backward, little tiny chunks of time if you wanted to do that. Like with audiobooks, you can increase or decrease the playback speed. That was pretty cool. I don't know if I've ever done that with a movie, but there you have it. It's here. You can also turn on a transcript, which I've never used, but feature is here. One of the other things that I really liked is you can go full screen, which is really handy when you are watching a movie kind of projecting to a larger screen. Okay, let's see. So, of course, I picked a dark screen or a dark moment in the movie for outer space, but you get the general idea. There it is. Okay, so you just hit escape and it pops you back to your browser window that you're used to. All right, so that's kind of your general idea here. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit back. And it takes you right back to that summary screen that we had before. Okay, so to get back to Kanopy's home, of course, we would hit the logo here. They like to divide things out based on category, just like our Netflixes, our Hulus, all of that good stuff. And that will change each month, but you'll notice something. We've got some things that are marked for kids, okay? You've also got your little kids logo up here at the top. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on that, and it's going to take us to their family kids section. And this is everything that they offer for our little ones. Yeah, so I'm gonna start watching. And again, they divide everything out by collection. They've got storybooks. I tested it out earlier with a Sesame Street episode. So that's my continued watching. They've got everything new listed up at the top, just like the other menu we were seeing before. Okay. Like I said, they have a lot of good storybooks, but they have a lot of PBS shows, which is really cool here. Mo Willems is a feature right now, so this would be great for our library families. But yeah, there's quite a bit through here, but everything functions exactly like it would for our other documentaries and movies that you saw. Okay, so if we were to go ahead and click in one of these, I'm not going to play it because it'll be stuck in my head. But you'll notice that there's a rating, there's a length for this one. I'm assuming that's combining all 7 episodes for, yep, for the time there. But you've got your summaries. You can turn on closed captioning because you can see it's available here. And then you can always add things to a watch list. So kind of create a running list of things you would like to see. And then your lists are available up here. Okay, so there's your watch list if you had chosen to add something to it or things you would like to continue watching that you were in the middle of. And now remember, we are in the kids section. So it's only going to show things that are kid friendly here, that they've got curated and marked as for kids. So if I were to exit the kids section, go back to my lists, this is everything that I had started watching. So now it's jumped and kind of popped something back in here from the original kind of overall Kanopy umbrella, if you will. Okay. Let's see. The categories are also listed up at the top here under the browse feature. One thing you'll notice if you have font settings built in, some of their words will overlap, and it's a bug on their end. It's not something that I can fix, but that does happen a little bit here. Okay, but you can scroll through and see what they've got. It's kind of right quickly at your fingertips as opposed to kind of paging through all of those cover photos. And one other thing I should mention, of course, is they've got their big old search bar up here. So if I were to do Sesame, there it is. Okay, with all of the filters available on the sign, just like our typical catalog does. That we could, ooh, this is handy for our libraries. If I turn this on, these are the ones that we have public performance rights available for. And you'd have to take a look at what those rights and what those licenses entail. But there are rights available. I don't know if it would be for purchase. I don't know any of those details, but the possibility is there. Okay. So this is kind of the browser version in a nutshell. I don't think there's much else here to show. Yeah, it's all very similar. The browser version is pretty straightforward. I will confess, I live on Tug Hill, so we aren't able to stream up there. So this was all brand new to me. And as somebody who is not, used to streaming media like this on a daily basis, on a regular basis at all, it was pretty straightforward to navigate, which I really appreciated. Okay. And then if you go into your account.
Hey, Ashley.
Yeah.
You talked about like you can't stream at home, but can you download to stream like if you're off Wi-Fi? Like if you're in your car with your kids?
Um, I don't know that. I haven't seen the download option available from Kanopy yet. I haven't seen that button come up. That's a great question. Has anybody else noticed it on the screen? That's something I was looking for as I was kind of cruising through, and I haven't seen it. Yeah, no, I didn't think anybody else had either. Have you noticed it?
I haven't played around with it enough, but I
Mhm.
know either Peacock or Hulu, one of my streaming services, allows
Oh,
download for some shows, but not for others. So I wasn't sure if what I was looking at didn't have it like those other services
and
do.
it very well could be like a package that we could purchase as a central library and as a committee. But unfortunately, I wasn't there when when they made this final yes, we're going to purchase button kind of decision. But I haven't seen that kind of download button anywhere in any of the cover photos and the summaries anywhere across Canopy yet. But we can find out. That's a great question. I'm writing it down as we speak. Good one. Um, One of the other things I should mention is right now, we opted not to put any limits on use yet. We weren't sure what use was really going to look like. Some of the bigger libraries around the country have chosen to say, you can only watch 3 films for the month and that's it, or 10 films or what have you. But we didn't put any limits like that yet. That may be coming in the future, if we find that use is really heavy, just to watch our expenses. But for now, there are no limits that I am aware of. So we're really testing it out and just kind of seeing how this goes for the first year of use or months of use, however it lands. Okay. Any questions? All right. So one other thing I wanted to show you before we end it for today. Can everybody see the device list when I flipped screens? I'm never quite sure on Zoom if something gets lost. Okay. So Canopy has a great help page. And it has one of the things they offer is a list of supported browsers and devices. So they talk about down here, this would be where you would want to start thinking about downloading an app. On a laptop, you could go to a browser and you would more than likely have great luck. But when you start thinking about downloading an app to a mobile device or a smart TV, that's when operating systems come into play. And depending on what system you're using, you may or may not run into some hiccups. Mobile devices such as iPhones, Samsung phones, any other Android devices, typically the newer they are, the better luck you're going to have, unfortunately. But they do list kind of the operating systems here. So anything with an iOS 11 and higher, Android 5.0 and higher, and Fire OS 5 and higher, you're going to be good to go. Okay. When you go down, they also list smart TVs, and this is where things kind of start to get hit or miss. We have a smart TV here at Flower that was purchased as a part of the Senior Planet program. So it's not really all that old, and yet we can't get the Kanopy app to pop up. So it's relatively new and we're still having trouble getting Kanopy to appear on it. So TVs can sometimes be pretty hit or miss. Okay. So if you have a user who's running into that trouble, I would generally look to this list first and see if you can get them to figure out what kind of TV they really do have or what kind of operating system they have, and then go from there and see what the hiccups might be. Okay. But this
It
list
was
does exist.
automatically on my Roku.
What's that?
It was automatically on my Roku. I didn't even download it. It was there.
Perfect. That's awesome. You're very lucky. I did not have that kind of luck here at the library. I kind of went from TV to TV and nope, no luck. Okay, but this is here for you, along with a whole bunch of other kind of help pages. Okay, so they've got a whole bunch of other topics for you to kind of help you troubleshoot as well. All right. So back over to Kanopy. Downloading on the device, the process for creating your account, if somebody decides to start on an app as opposed to starting within a browser, is very similar. There is still that verification process with an email account. They may have to type in the North Country Library system. They may have to tell their phone that, yes, it's okay to use the location right now, kind of stuff, depending on their phone's settings. So sometimes those will come into play and you kind of might have to troubleshoot and walk them through those types of steps. But it's all here right in your cheat sheet. Unfortunately, I can't quite get the screen to show up with the little tiny camera here on Zoom, but I'm happy to even, walk you through on the phone if you run into any kind of hiccups like that and see if we can figure it out that way as well. Do you have any questions? Anything I can answer for you? Make sure I didn't miss any chat messages or anything. No? All right. So that said, you're welcome to head on out for the day. We try to keep these as quick as possible. I know that everybody is busy, so I don't want to keep you too long, but thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you later, and hopefully you have some luck with Kanopy. Take care, everyone. See you later.
Thank you, Ashley.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Hi, Ashley. I have a question for you. I'm trying to do this on my phone
Okay.
and saying that it can't find my library. Dexter Library. Yeah.
Oh, what library are you trying to put in? Are you putting in Dexter or are you putting in
Yes, Dexter.
Nope, put in North Country Library System. Try that.
Okay.
Because North Country Library System is essentially kind of the purchaser. We went through them, so it's seeing them as the library, not your individual building.
Thank you. It's there now. Thank you.
Ah, you're welcome. That
I probably will
glad that
answer
you
a
fixed that
question
one.
for somebody else in the future too. So
Good.
yes. All right. Thanks. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
No, not at all.